Most A-listers can't even hold a door open without making it a PR moment. Henry Cavill holds it open because that's just who he is. And somehow, that's become the rarest thing in Hollywood.
I don't know about the costume. Were you ever worried as it could be slightly revealing? It's quite an iconic one too.
Yes, there was always that worry because it was so revealing.
We've all seen it. That one interview clip where the reporter gets a little too comfortable, a little too bold. The kind of energy that would have made anyone else go cold on camera or clap back.
No socks needed at any point.
No what?
No socks needed downstairs for the reveal.
No, man.
Not Henry. He sits there, lets the awkward land, and then shuts it down with a smile so calm it's almost surgical. No raised voice, no visible annoyance, just pure, unhurried control. That reporter still hasn't recovered, and honestly, good. Because the contrast between them tells you everything about who Henry Cavill actually is. Here's the part that really gets people. While everyone was still mourning his exit from Man of Steel and The Witcher, and trust me, that was a rough couple of months for the internet, Henry quietly became something even bigger. A girl dad. In January 2025, he and his girlfriend Natalie Viscuso welcomed a baby girl, and the few paparazzi shots that slipped through, devastating in the best way. This man, who built his career playing warriors and monsters and literal gods, just casually pushing a pram with that same protective energy he brings to every red carpet. It's the Geralt of Rivia but make it soft version, and nobody was ready. And look, back in 2021, when he posted that Instagram photo with Natalie and broke 1 million hearts simultaneously, a lot of people were in their feelings. But watching how he's carried himself through all of it, the relationship, the pregnancy, the paparazzi, there's something genuinely moving about it. He didn't make it a spectacle. He just lived his life like a person who has his priorities straight. Okay, this one is a certified classic now, and if you haven't heard it, sit down. Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, Marvel's own superhero, is at Carbone in Las Vegas. He spots Henry Cavill across the room, and instead of walking straight over like two A-listers who vaguely know of each other, Simu hesitates. He's nervous about approaching Superman.
Reservations at this restaurant Carbone, and I look over in the booth and I'm like, I think that's Superman. And he's like really keeping to himself, like nobody's noticing him, which is crazy. And I just keep looking at him and I'm like, no, he doesn't know who I am. I'm not gonna go say hi. I'm not gonna bother him. And then I was like, you know what, but what are we doing? We're in Vegas. I got up and I kind of went over and I was like, hi, I don't know if you know who I am, but I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan of you. And he like, it's like one of those things, he wraps me up in a bear hug and he's like, dude, of course I know who you are. And you're the best and maybe I'm embellishing at this point.
No, whatever, he said it.
He said a lot of nice things.
Yeah, no, I was there.
And then, came over and introduced himself to the whole table, so all of my friends. After we had finished our meal, I went to ask for the check, and the waiter was like, Mr. Cavill is taking care of your bill.
What? And then there's Alan Powell's story, which lives rent-free in my brain. He's leaving the Beverly Hills Hotel, holds the door for someone, and then gets stuck in that situation we've all been in, where people just keep coming and there's no graceful exit. He's standing there for a solid minute. Then he feels someone reach past him and take the door. He turns around to say thank you. It's Henry Cavill. Right around the Batman vs. Superman era, when his face was literally everywhere. And Alan does what any of us would do. He goes, "Whoa, you're Superman." Henry looks at him, smiles, and says, "Sometimes," then walks inside. Just like that. That's not a line you workshop. That's a man who is fully comfortable in his own skin, and it shows.
My nephew Thomas, he went to school one day, and it was talk about your family day, and he was telling all the school kids that his uncle was Superman. And of course, the teacher then said, Thomas, that we don't lie in school.
Imagine being 6 years old, telling your whole class your uncle is Superman, getting sent to the principal's office for it, and then being completely vindicated. That's what happened to Henry's nephew Thomas, and honestly, it's the most wholesome thing in a story that's already packed with them. The teacher pulled his mom aside, said they don't encourage children to tell lies in school. His mom went along with it, because Thomas does tell tall tales, and then the teacher dropped that his uncle claims to be Superman, and his mom just goes, "Oh, I hate to tell you this, it's all true. The fact that Henry told this story on national television with barely contained pride says everything. He's not trying to be cool, he just genuinely loves his family, and it comes through every single time. Jimmy Fallon's show talked about his off-season eating habits with zero shame. Burgers for mass building, he said, while Jimmy Fallon looked personally offended.
He eats a lot of things.
Well, name one.
Okay, it depends. If I'm mass building, then I'll eat burgers and stuff.
And then somehow made the entire crowd lose their minds during a conversation about cardio. He didn't even say anything explicit. He just let the implication hang there and let everyone else connect the dots. The audience erupted. Fallon looked like he needed a minute, and Henry Cavill just sat there looking genuinely pleased with himself. That's the move. Perfectly executed. Here's one that doesn't get clipped as often, but maybe should. On set, Henry has a habit. Every single day, he picks a crew member, not a co-star, not a director, a crew member. He walks up, says hello, shakes their hand, asks how their day is going. Then he moves to the next one. He reportedly kept doing this until his own ADs had to tell him the crew was simply too large for him to get to everyone. His reason? Basic human decency. He said people rush so much on set that they forget to treat each other like people, and he didn't want to be one of those people. That's not a stunt, that's just character. So here's where we land. Is Henry Cavill the last genuine gentleman in Hollywood? Or is this the world's longest, most consistent, most convincing performance? Because at some point, after the Simu Liu dinner, the nephew story, the Alan Powell one-liner, the way he guards Natalie from cameras, the crew handshakes, the bear hug in Vegas, at some point it stops being a performance and just becomes who someone is. He's not trying to go viral. He's not chasing a redemption arc. He's just doing the thing, quietly, consistently, over and over again. And maybe that's exactly why it hits so hard every time. Drop a comment. Do you think this is who he really is, or is he just that good an actor? And subscribe if you want more of this, because Hollywood could genuinely use more people worth talking about.